The Kyle Shanahan hate is flat out ridiculous. The narrative, it honestly breaks my heart, man. Kyle Shanahan is one of, if not the best coach in the NFL, and has been since 2019. He is the most influential coach, whether you like it or not, on the current state of the NFL and specifically offensive football. And for NFL fans, 49er fans, the media, to treat him the way they do, it's just flat out disappointing. And I'll never understand it. Like, I don't understand why people hate this guy. But clearly they do. And clearly they go out of their way to do anything they can to fit a narrative around why Kyle Shanahan lost the Niners or even the Atlanta Falcons when he wasn't even the head coach. Why he lost them the game. And I feel sick for him because, man, the Super Bowl once again slips through his fingertips. But let me just ask you a question, man. If you're one of those people that think, Kyle Shanahan's overrated, Kyle Shanahan can't win the big one, Kyle Shanahan this and that and the other, and whatever your idea is, let me ask you a question. How many coaches could win a Super Bowl when the advantage at quarterback is Tom Brady to Matt Ryan, Patrick Mahomes to Jimmy Garoppolo, and Patrick Mahomes to Brock Purdy? Like, I often feel like Kyle Shanahan is a victim of his own greatness. He's a victim of how effective his scheme is. He's a victim of how far he's able to take quarterbacks and teams that many other coaches would not be able to take that far. And it's sad to see that greatness twisted in the wrong direction. It feels a lot to me like a Josh Allen, where people don't understand why this player is falling short, in quotations. People don't understand why Kyle Shanahan is falling short. Could he have done things better in this Super Bowl, in past Super Bowls? Absolutely. Every coach could. Andy Reid could have done things better in the Super Bowl that he just won. And that's the thing. You make that immediate comparison. Andy Reid is now arguably one of, if not a real possibility, that he's the greatest coach of all time when you look at his full body of work and evidence. And he did not win a Super Bowl until I think he was 61 years old. Kyle Shanahan is 44 years old. He has been to 4 NFC championships. He has been to 2 Super Bowls, 3, including the time he was a coordinator of one of the greatest offenses of all time and leading that unit to an MVP season from his quarterback and the Super Bowl, and a lead against Tom Brady in a Super Bowl, 28-3. Everyone remembers that. He was able to get his team a lead in both of the games against Patrick Mahomes, and things didn't fall their way once again in the Super Bowl. I mean, they gave up 8 points via special teams from a returner making a boneheaded mistake at running after the football after it touched his teammate. What are you supposed to do as a coach there? What are you supposed to do as a coach when your extra point gets blocked? And Niner fans, this is the difference to me between Kyle and a lot of other coaches. Like, you never see the blame placed on a coach quite like it's placed on Kyle Shanahan. Oftentimes, the blame falls on the quarterback. But for some reason, for the Niners and for all of his teams, it feels like it falls on him. I don't know if it's a jealousy thing, like because he's the son of a great coach. But, like, I don't know what he has to do to prove to you he's a great coach in his own right. There's a reason he's here, and it's not because his dad was a great coach. Like, any coach would tell you he is a great coach. If they've faced him or they've played alongside him or if they've coached alongside him, they would tell you that. So the jealousy might be a factor, but to me, like, there's no other coach that gets the blame for losses quite like Kyle Shanahan. Like, not even Sean McDermott gets this much hate. It's actually wild. I don't remember watching Sean Payton and the Saints lose a playoff game and they blame Sean Payton instead of Drew Brees. I don't remember Tony Dungy and the Colts lose a playoff game and they blame Tony Dungy instead of Peyton Manning. I don't remember Tom Brady and the Patriots losing a Super Bowl and Bill Belichick getting the blame. I don't remember any great coach or quarterback getting the blame in a big setting and it not fall on the quarterback. And I think that's the reason. Because Kyle is the picture. He is the guy. He is what you think of when you think of the 49ers, their success, and what makes them so great. You might think of their skill talent, you might think of their players, but you don't think of their quarterback. And I think in this day and age in the NFL, that's such a unique thing. And I'm not trying to hate on Brock Purdy. I think he's a good young quarterback. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Josh Allen. He's not Joe Burrow. He's not Lamar Jackson. He might not even be Dak Prescott. He's probably a top 12, borderline top 10 quarterback. But I don't know if he is if he's not in San Francisco. Like, I think that's a real question to ask. On top of that, this was just a flat out unlucky game. Again, like, Niners fans are all over Shanahan for not running more. They ran the ball 31 times. Christian McCaffrey had 22 carries. And only for did you check the stats? 3.6 yards per carry. This was actually the most effective run defense against the Niners we've seen all season. And you've got to credit a historically good defense for that. Like, the Chiefs have a historically great defense. And I'm going to make another video on that because the Chiefs deserve a lot of credit for Steve Spagnuolo, his game plan and that. But man, like, to blame Shanahan for not running the ball in this game? Like, did we watch the same game? Like, Debo got 3 carries despite being hurt. He got 11 targets. He did not play well. He was probably injured throughout the course of the game, but he got completely owned. Like, McDuffie was just the better player on that day. Like, can you blame the coach? Players got to win the game, right? Jimmy's and the Joes at the end of the day got to win the game. And Kittle was kind of invisible. Maybe fans could argue he could have been more involved. Maybe. We also knew he had a toe injury coming into the game. How affected was he by that? I don't know. Really, Jawan Jennings, Christian McCaffrey, and at times Brandon Ayuk were their most effective playmakers. And they stepped up when they needed to, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough, right? Mahomes made more throws than Purdy. Purdy missed a couple open touchdowns. Purdy read the blitz wrong in 2 crucial third down situations. He missed Ayuk wide open in the end zone. Didn't see him. Didn't go to that play when he needed it. The offensive line had some breakdowns. Maybe you could say they could have been better prepared for that. I don't exactly know if that was because of that or because Feliciano got injured in the middle of the game, which kind of messed up some of their protections. Maybe you could say that they should have done a better job on Kelsey in the second half. How many other teams have given up those yards and those catches against Kelsey? A lot. Maybe they could have done a better job on defense at defending, those game-winning drives, which Steve Wilkes should take more of that blame because he's the defensive coordinator, but Dre Greenlaw getting hurt definitely changed this game, so you can't really foresee that as a coach. You can only do what you can. At the end of the day, the Chiefs capitalize on the mistakes that the Niners made, and many of them were not of the coach's doing. They were fluky. It happens. The Chiefs fumbled the ball 5 times in this game. And they recovered 4 of them. The Niners fumbled twice. They recovered 0, right? So it's just crazy to me. Like, Shanahan's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's been to all these NFC championships. They've been the best team in the NFC since 2019, by far. And yet, he is being criticized. Like, he has just begun. Like, he's just beginning. Like, that's the crazy thing. Like, Belichick didn't even win a Super Bowl until he was 48. And then they had the dynasty. And he had Tom Brady. Right? Like, Shanahan has had Garoppolo. Maybe Purdy's that guy eventually. But, like, it's just wild hate. It's just nonsensical. It's just trying to put the blame on one person when it's not that simple. It's not that simple. Especially when it's a coach. Like, the coach is responsible, but, like, in this game, what could you really say he made the difference in? Like, that's a great team on the other side. That's a historic quarterback. That's a great coach. That's a great defensive coordinator. That's a great team. That's a dynasty. Like, they're a dynasty for a reason. And for him to be getting all this hate is just unbelievable. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. I think if you switch coaches, I think, honestly, the Chiefs win. Like, I really don't think it's any different. I honestly thought Reed got out-coached for a majority of the day. Spags was the best coach in the game, probably, if we had to be honest, on that day. And, like, they're going to rebuild. They're, like, people thinking this window for the Niners is closed, they're false. Like, this guy is a special coach. Like, he's built this special culture. He's going to come back. He's going to improve. He's going to tweak things. They're going to get better. Like, don't hang your head if you're a Niners fan. This thing's going to last. Like, yeah, there's special players on this team, but that's the thing. Like, this guy is different. Like, this guy's going to keep this team in it for a number of years because he's that good. And maybe they don't ever win a Super Bowl. But man, to say that you would want anyone else is pretty wild, considering what he's done at this age, especially. So, I don't even know what else to say at this point. I'm just disappointed. I'm upset, frustrated, like, angry is a good word for it. I wanted him to win this game. You guys know I love Kyle Shanahan. He's my favorite person in the NFL. And more than anything, I think that the NFL needs him to win a Super Bowl. Like, because the narrative that surrounds him, despite his influence over the current product of the game, is crazy. Like, his influence over offense. Like, 90% of offenses try to run his system. How many coaches have been hired off of his staff and have been successful? How many teams are going to be influenced by the Niners moving forward and what they've been able to do? And, like, it's just so frustrating to see media members attack him, fans clown him for losing to Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl and Tom Brady. Like, what? Aren't you guys the same people that are talking about Patrick Mahomes as the GOAT or, like, Tom Brady is the GOAT? And yet you're saying that the coach lost when he has Brock Purdy? Like, there's people legitimately on the timeline asking if the Niners would have won this game if they had Bill Belichick. And the Niners would have never been in this game if they had Bill Belichick. And I'm a Patriots fan. Because, I mean, there's no evidence that Belichick would be able to win without Tom Brady. So, like, we look across dynasties, and Reed is great. And he never won anything until Patrick Mahomes came along. And the Niners were that friggin' close. Honestly, if it were not for some fluky plays, you can blame him maybe for Super Bowl 54. You can put some blame on him for his play calling in Super Bowl 51. Although you guys know I kind of chalk that up to Brady magic. But this game, This is just trying to find some sort of narrative to fit your agenda and your propaganda. And I will not stand for it. So that's all I got to say. I'm upset. I'm frustrated. You guys let me know what you think. I think I covered everything that I wanted to say. It's just, this has been running through my mind. Honestly, I couldn't sleep last night because I was just like, I feel bad for this guy. You know? And this team, it's like, I hope they win one day, because this team has been so influential. This coach has been so influential to my channel. I hope it happens. And I think it will. But you got to be patient. Because the funny thing is, in 10 years, we could be looking back at this day. We could be looking back at the narratives and laugh. And that's the thing that I hope we are doing in 10 years, because I think there's going to be many people that are looking back and saying, why did we think those things? When in fact, what he was doing was pretty crazy. So, thanks guys for watching. It's Mitch. Let me know your thoughts. Peace.